Good afternoon, beautiful people, and happy Wednesday. So, CNN's own data guru, Harry Enten, just delivered what he called a truckload of bad news for Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. And when CNN says it is bad news for a Democrat, then you know that it is really bad. Apparently, Schumer isn't just unpopular. He is the least popular Democratic Senate leader since the 1980s, even with his own party. His approval among Democrats is underwater, and guess who CNN says would actually be favored to beat him if she ran in 2028? Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Yep, AOC herself. So let's unpack this. Welcome to Nellie Miranda.
Backlash this morning for Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer as division grows among Democrats over the deal to reopen the government. California Congressman Ro Khanna going so far as calling for Schumer to be replaced, saying he's no longer effective. CNN chief data analyst Harry Enten joining us now. How are Democrats feeling overall about Schumer? We've seen a lot of comments from some House Democrats, but what about overall?
What about Democrats nationwide feeling about Chuck Schumer? I think the word of the day is terrible, 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 terrible. To quote another Charles Barkley when it comes to Chuck Schumer, look at this. Least popular Dem Senate leader ever. I looked at all of the polls going all the way back since 1985. The one who has the lowest rating among Democrats is, in fact, Chuck Schumer. Look at this. He's underwater with Democrats. His own party, he's underwater. He's at -4 points. That makes him the least popular guy for a Dem Senate leader going all the way back since the mid-1980s at least.
You have a
Terrible, terrible, terrible. As always, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. Okay, so Schumer's been in politics forever, since 1974. He's supposed to be this powerhouse from New York, the master negotiator, the insider's insider. But according to CNN's own data, Democrats don't even like the guy anymore. Enten says Schumer's approval is -4 among Democrats nationally. That means more Democrats disapprove of him than approve. Think about that. The top Senate Democrat from one of the bluest states in America can't even get love from his own team.
Do you have a sense of why?
Why? It's because Democrats, they want a fighter. They want a fighter. That's why. Take a look here. Democrats, Dems in Congress do too little to oppose Trump. During the first term, it was just 46% in 2017. That's the percentage of Democrats who said that the Dems in Congress are doing too little to oppose Donald Trump. Look at where we are now. 69%. That is an increase of, get this, 23 points. The super duper majority of Democrats believe that the Democrats in Congress are not doing enough to oppose Donald Trump. And that, of course, is a big, huge criticism of Chuck Schumer. And that is why he is underwater.
I knew you were going to do the dip.
But wait, it gets even worse for him in his home state. Enten said Schumer's only barely above water among New York Democrats, just 16 points positive, while AOC is way ahead. He literally said if she decides to challenge Chuck Schumer in 2028, she'd be the favorite to beat him. His words, not mine.
There has been talks of a challenge to Schumer. What are you saying on that front? Who looks like they're in place to do it?
Okay, so, you see this opening slide here, and you see, of course, that Chuck Schumer is underwater with Democrats nationally. But, of course, the ultimate way to get Chuck Schumer out of office is to beat him in New York State. So how do New York State Democrats feel about Chuck Schumer? And take a look here. The net favorable among New York Democrats. Chuck Schumer is above water with the Democrats in his home state, but just by 16 points. Look at Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez running way ahead. If she decides to challenge Chuck Schumer and come 2028, she's got a real leg up on the competition. I dare say at this point she would be the favorite to beat him, which would be something that would just blow my mind, even just a few years ago, given that Chuck Schumer, of course, is a New York born and bred type of guy.
Yeah, those are incredible.
Look at that, 30 points ahead. My goodness gracious.
That's a lot. All right.
I think this perspective is fascinating. The so-called party of unity can't even keep their base happy. Their Senate leader, the guy who's supposed to keep things together, is now viewed as too moderate or too weak and too establishment. Basically, they're saying he's weak for not holding the line and keeping his fellow senators from voting to reopen the government. That in itself is crazy to me, because the party who claims to be so empathetic of the American people, so empathetic of the working class, would be okay with people not receiving their SNAP benefits, and even worse, being okay with people working without getting a paycheck. insanity. But as you just heard, AOC is probably waiting in the wings, the face of the radical progressive, the person who thinks socialism just needs better PR, the woman who believes capitalism is the root of all evil but still rocks designer outfits on the steps of Congress, the person fighting the oligarchs because the issue isn't her and Bernie Sanders, who are reported to be multimillionaires, it's the billionaires. And if they were billionaires themselves, then this would be a non-issue. It's wild, but it makes sense. Democrats today do not want consensus. They want confrontation. Enten even said it. Voters are looking for a fighter.
Do you have a sense of why?
Why? It's because Democrats, they want a fighter. They want a fighter. That's why. Take a look here. Democrats, Dems in Congress do too little to oppose Trump.
And AOC plays that perfectly. She doesn't compromise, she performs, and she has mastered the art of outrage politics, which is exactly what the far left eats up.
And it is also not a coincidence that the very forces that Zohran is up against in this race mirrors what we are up against nationally. Both an authoritarian, criminal presidency fueled by corruption and bigotry, and an ascendant right-wing extremist movement. And an insufficient, eroded, bygone political establishment, this time in the form of Andrew Cuomo, whose pursuit of power has blinded them.
You see how fired up her crowd gets? It's emotional, not rational, and that is her strength. But it is also Schumer's nightmare because for decades, he's played the quiet deal maker, backroom deals, slow negotiations, handshakes, photo ops. AOC represents the total opposite. She is brash, loud, and unapologetically far, far left. So what happens when that energy goes after him? CNN basically told us that he would lose. In the next clip, though, AOC is not mentioned, but listen to what this commentator says would happen if someone went up against Chuck Schumer and lost.
And there's certainly blood in the water today for Schumer to be ousted. Yes. And when McCarthy was, I mean, Mike Johnson was a nobody. He wasn't had a national profile. Now he is the leader. He's the House Speaker now. So do you think that if Schumer was, I know there's a lot of hypotheticals here. Let's say Schumer is being challenged. I know you said it's hard to beat somebody with nobody. Would it be someone with a smaller profile, perhaps? Because who do you think would emerge?
Yeah, so the Senate, the dynamics of a Senate vote are a little different than a House vote, right? Because there's just less of them. Someone like, if you're looking for a name, I would look at Brian Schatz, who is a senator from Hawaii, younger, has been critical of leadership, more on the liberal end, but savvy. Chris Van Hollen from Maryland is someone who would like to be in leadership. You know, if they go kind of a more caretaker route, like they get Schumer out, but they don't want to give it to a new person before the 2026 election. Patty Murray, who's been in the Senate for a very long time, she's already in leadership, would make some sense as a female leader of the party. So those are the names that jump out to me as people would be interested. But again, you know, you gotta take a risk. I mean, you know, announcing against Schumer, if you lose, he is going to punish you for that. So it's like, if it's the old Omar from The Wire line, if you come at the king, you best not miss. Like, that's the situation. Like, if you're going to get in, you better have a pretty damn good feeling that you can win.
Yeah, so here's where we should all be paying attention. AOC challenging Schumer wouldn't just be a Democratic fight. It would redefine their entire party. If she wins, it means that the radicals officially take the wheel. That means the Senate's most powerful Democrat seat will belong to someone who supports defunding the police and open borders. Imagine that. The U.S. Senate run by a social media firebrand. Now, even if Chuck Schumer somehow hangs on, I think he'll have to run to the left just to survive a primary, which means that he'll start parroting her talking points, pandering to her crowd, and abandoning whatever little moderation he still had. And it'll just prove that the Democratic Party is the party of AOC and identity politics. However, here is Hakeem Jeffries when asked about calls for Schumer to be replaced.
Manu?
There have been number of members of your own caucus who have called on Senator Schumer to be replaced as Democratic leader. Are you okay with those calls coming from within your own caucus?
As I've indicated, we're focused right now on pressing the case in addressing the Republican health care crisis will be before the Rules Committee in moments. We'll have a family conversation as House Democrats. We're strongly opposed as House Democrats to this reckless Republican effort to continue to raise the high cost of living on everyday Americans, which is exactly what they're doing by failing to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits.
What did he just say here? That is one of the things that infuriates me about politicians. Like, just answer the question. He could have simply said, I've heard about the cost to replace Schumer. I don't agree with it. We are all doing our best to move things forward and find solutions that benefit the American people. We cannot put all the blame on one person. Finish. Instead, he said, my focus is shining light on apples because, as we know, they are better than oranges. And we want to be sure that everyone knows that an apple a day keeps the doctors away. What is this? Well, all of this says one thing. CNN's data tells one story. Chuck Schumer's leadership era is fading, and the next generation of Democrats will be led by people like AOC. They are ready to take over. Democrats are moving even further left, and they're doing it super fast. We already have proof of that with Zohran Mamdani. So this means the battle of ideas is about to get louder, sharper, and even more radical. Here's a bonus clip from November 5th when Chuck Schumer was pressed about AOC's criticism of him for not endorsing Zohran Mamdani. Take a listen.
Let me read you a quote that AOC said last night when asked about you not endorsing Mamdani. She said, the Democratic Party cannot last much longer by denying the future, by trying to undercut our young, by trying to undercut a next generation of diverse and upcoming Democrats that the actual electorate and voters support.
Listen,
what do you say to that?
I'm moving forward. This morning I talked with Mayor-elect Mamdani. We had a very, very good conversation. We said that we cared about New York City and that we look forward to working together to help the city and improve the city. I congratulated him on running a very, very good campaign. And the issue that he has stressed is being stressed by Democrats across the country, from one end of America to the other, the high costs that the Trump administration is imposing on us and their failure to do anything about it.
My questions for you is, do you think AOC will actually challenge Chuck Schumer in 2028? And if she does, what would that mean for the future of the Democratic Party? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if honest commentary brings you value, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. And tap the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.